We are already 12 days into May, so it's about time I bring you guys my April sewing roundup. So if that's something that you might be interested in, then please keep on watching. Hey Stitchers, your girl Kris here. Welcome back to my channel on social, where it's totally cool to be obsessed with sewing. So for today's video, I'm finally bringing to you my April sewing roundup, which in all fairness should be a fairly short video, since for the entire month of April, your girl made one thing. One single item. Oh my goodness. April was not a great sewing month for me, partly because I was away from my machine and partly because I just didn't have the sewing enthusiasm that I'm accustomed to having. But we're now into May and I am vrooming away with my sewing makes, and so my May sewing roundup should be jam-packed with brand spanking new makes. Anyways, I told you I only made one thing for the month of May, and it is this dress right here. This is the Jessica dress by Mimi G. Now, sometime in early April, or perhaps it was the end of March, I saw that Mimi G was giving away this pattern over on her Instagram. Now, when I saw it, I remembered that I already had this pattern in my stash and in fact had made it about 5 or 6 times early on in my sewing journey. And I think out of those 5 or 6 times, I hacked it probably 4 times. You guys, I loved this pattern early on in my sewing, but I hadn't made it up for a while, and when I saw Mimi ranting and raving about it over on Instagram, I immediately felt the need to remake it, and that I did. I pulled for my Jessica dress pattern and some Ankara fabric that I had in my stash from a freak clothing store and came up with this creation. Now, I'm pretty sure that you guys can't see the entire dress because of where I'm standing from my camera, but I'll be sure to go ahead and pop in some twirls or some pictures or something so that hopefully you guys can get a better look. Now, the Jessica dress is a great spring and summer dress. It features a sweetheart bodice, has buttons down the center, and is designed to have patch pockets. It comes in a size extra small to 2XL, which for all intents and purposes is fairly size inclusive. Now, I can't remember what the range is for the bust, waist, and hips for this pattern, so I'm going to pull up the measurement charts and pop them in so you can have a better idea of the sizing for this pattern. Now, I went ahead and sewed up a size large simply because I had altered this pattern years ago. In hindsight, I'm not sure if that was a great idea and probably could have benefited from grading out to an extra large at the waistline area. I feel like as is, it is a little bit snug, but I think it's still wearable. And perhaps if your girl went ahead and put her Spanx on, then this dress would fit me even better. Now, I did make a couple adjustments to this pattern for aesthetic reasons. Now, the fabric chart recommends 4¼ yards of 45-inch fabric for my size. Now, I used Ankara fabric, which normally has a width of 45 inches, and this one was no different, but I was able to squeeze out my pattern pieces, you guys, out of the 3 yards of Ankara fabric that I had in my stash with very little fabric left over. Now, it meant that I had to shorten my skirt pieces. I can't remember if it was about 4 or so inches that I shortened my skirt pieces in order to get them to fit on the fabric that I had. And it also meant that I had to cut my skirt pieces on the crosswise grain. Now, the pattern comes with patch pockets, but I did go ahead and substitute them for inseam pockets on this dress. Now, I just prefer, for some reason, having inseam pockets instead of patch pockets, and probably only made this dress one time with patch pockets. If I can find a picture, then I'll pop it in so that you guys can see what that one looks like. Now, the final aesthetic change I made was to go ahead and make my bra straps adjustable. And I achieved this by using a bra slider set that looks like this, which I got from repurposing an old bra that no longer fits well. Now, I do have sloping shoulders, and to avoid my straps from slipping off my shoulders, I typically like to insert elastic through my straps. That guarantees that they stay put on my shoulders. When I don't use elastic, then my preference is to use an adjustable strap just like this so that I can adjust the strap to the right length to accommodate the slope of my shoulders. Now, all in all, I'm really happy with how this dress turned out. I love this Ankara that I got from a freak clothing store, and I'm minded to go back and purchase a couple more yards just because I think it's such a fun and funky print. Now, those were all of the changes that I made, and overall, I would probably give this dress an 8 out of 10, just because it is a little tight around the waistline area as I indicated earlier, and I see a tiny bit of gaping at the bust line. That all indicates that I probably should have gone ahead and sized up to the extra large, blending out from the large at the underarm out to the extra large at the waistline. That would have made the waistline fit a little bit more comfortable and perhaps also reduce this tiny bit of gaping at my bust line. Now, in terms of the instructions, I completely disregarded the order of construction in the instructions and instead opted to construct the entire front dress first, bodice and skirt, and then do the entire back bodice, and then join the front to the back at the side seams as one of my final steps. Usually, where I can, I like to construct my dresses this way just so that it makes it a lot easier to take in or let out my side seams if necessary. However, I forgot that the side seam allowance on this dress is only 3/8 of an inch, and so there really wasn't a lot of wiggle room for me to play with. If the side seam allowance had been 5/8 of an inch, then your girl could have easily gone in and let out perhaps a 1/4 inch or so just for some additional ease at the waistline. That means when I make this pattern again, because I know inevitably I am going to make this pattern again, then I'll be sure to go ahead and grade up as indicated earlier on in this video. Now, I did wear this dress out when I was in Barbados. I think it was the day that I met Carol. We had gone to Abed's to fabric shop and I picked up a huge fabric haul. If you have not seen that video, I'll go ahead and leave the link in right here so you can head on over and check it out. Spoiler alert, there was over 25 pounds of fabric, you guys. So again, if you're curious to see all the goodies that I picked up on my fabric haul, be sure to go on over to that video and check it out. Now, whilst we were out shopping, a couple of people did compliment me on my dress and wanted to know where I had bought it. Woo! You know that made your girl feel like something brand new, and I felt so proud to be able to turn around and say, thanks, I made it myself. So all in all, I am pretty pleased with this make. Now, this is the only thing that I was able to tick off my sewing list for April, but as I indicated, I am well on my way with sewing makes for May. And so the end of May will have a bigger roundup than does April. So if you'll be interested in seeing what I'm whizzing up behind the scenes, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to this channel and turn your notifications on so you never miss any of my upcoming videos, including that video when it is released. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And as usual, if you guys have any questions about my make, fitting adjustments, aesthetic adjustments, the fabric choice, go ahead and drop me a comment down below and I'll be sure to do my best to respond. Now, that is all I needed to share with you guys today. So until next time, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.